Good morning, welcome to Restoration Revival. It is 3rd of July, Monday morning, 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. We're back on the Corona, So before we get on that, just a short update on the 240Z. So yeah, what have we got here? Hang on, I'll put you back. Don't need to hold you. Hang on, what do we got here? I've been painting up some parts, so I've got the alternator all done. So that's ready to go on, as well as the battery tray and the brake booster, which I do have to pick you up for that, because it's just sitting in here. I've still got to get a new master cylinder. As you can see, the brake booster is painted, so it's not far off being able to start it. Got some parts donated from, thanks Roger. Thank you, Roger. I got a points distributor in here. I do have the Mallory distributor there, but the module's gone, and they're like $250. So I'm just going to put a points distributor in it for now. Got some heater controls, a map light. And hang on, we're going to go in here. Turn the light on. Excuse my mess, guys. I'm ashamed of myself. I already had the radio, but I've got the heater vent center console panel. So the dash is almost complete. I've still got to go see Greg to get a heater box off of him. Yeah, and yeah, 240Z is getting there. But today we are going to weld this in, this panel here. So yeah, that's the focus anyway. And by the end of the week, what I'm hoping, sorry, sit Ubu, sit, good dog. What I'm hoping is I can get this done too, and that's pretty much most of all of the rust. Because once that's done, then it's time to start prepping for paint. So epoxy primer, body filler, and then high fill primer, and then paint. There is the other small, very small piece of rust here, which should not take too long to fix. You know, talking like an hour or so, something like that. But we're getting close, guys. We should have this welded in by the end of the day. You got to take your time. It takes a while to weld this stuff in, because if you go too fast, you stuff it. Oh, that's right. I've got to fix this first. I'll still try and get it welded in by the end of the day, but I've got my doubts if I have to fix this first. Ah, I forgot about that. Sorry, guys, but we'll get into that. That's yeah, we'll get into that. That's what I'm going to do first. So I'm just going to go get myself prepped up to do this, and then when I'm ready to go, we'll do it. So as you can see on the inner wheel arch here, I've got to replace from around about here up to here. So I'm going to do the usual thing. I'll make a masking tape template. It's a bit hard for me to film it because it's up so high. My tripod's not that big at the moment, so I'll do that quickly, and then I'll show you what I've done, and yeah, we'll move forward. I've shown you so many times now anyway, but I'll show you again. Okay, we've got the tape on. What the most important part is to get this arch right. So basically I just want to get the basic shape from it, and then I want to transfer it to tin. But I'll just show you what excuse me, I just want to show you how I cut these edges. I just get it's a socket extension, and it's got this knurling on it for the grip, and I use that kind of like a file, and I just run it on the edge and it cuts that edge off, as you can see. Whoop. You can't if I'm not focusing on it, but like so, and I'll keep going the whole way around until it's all off. And it works quite well. So now I've got that basic shape. I'll peel that tape off and I'll transfer it to some tin, and I'll cut it out, and then we'll start shaping it up. Just got to walk up to the other shed to get a trestle for the tin to sit on while I cut it. Thought I'd chat to you while I'm on the way up. I've got a video coming up very soon of setting up a patrol for off-grid camping with lithium batteries and solar panels, so I'll film that process, so if anyone's interested they can stay tuned. Alright, we got this piece of tin in place, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the dolly on the underside, and I'm just going to hammer along here to get that basic curve, that reverse curve that goes all around the top of this. Once I've got that in shape, then I'll start bending this over. It's going to involve a bit of shrinkage, I do believe. Okay, I've got a basic, very minor shape in it at the moment because it is a pretty minor shape up there. So I'm going to take it in the metal working room now and actually start putting some real shape in it. So let's go. So I'm going to put it in the English wheel here. I've got to put a more curved dolly in it, just to run it along this edge here, just to get a little bit of shape in it. Not much, it's just a little bit, so it's going to be a very minor work. It's a lot more curved. Well, you can off camera, I'm not sure about on camera, but I also noticed it needed a bit of a shrink around this edge here. So we'll do that with the shrinker. So I'll move you back a bit again. Just a very minor shrink. So just a tap, tap, tap. Like so. And then we'll go have a look and see how that looks. Okay, we've got the basic shape we need now. So it's going to be time to start bending this lip over. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start the process in the with the tipping wheels on the bead roller. Alright, so I've got the line that I need to follow marked out. Turn it on. I've got the tipping wheel in here. So I just got to follow it through, and as it's following through I just got to tip it up. That's basically why they call it a tipping wheel. and steady and easy, so you get a nice even radius. You can't do it with one single pass either, it's going to take several passes. But that's a start. Might run it through one more time. Okay, we're going to take it back and offer it back up to the car again to see how close we are. Well, I'm quite surprised with such little work. It's almost sitting relaxed. I thought I was going to have to do a bit more shrinking around this area here, but no. It's got to come around a little bit more just here, but before I even think about doing that, I'm not going to have these sharp edges. I'm going to bring it up around here, so I might even cut some of that out so it doesn't even need to do so. But I might bend it around just first before I cut it off. Actually, I will do that. So I'll do that quickly, and I'll show you the final result. Well, there you have it. I've got it all clamped up on the underside, and it's fitting perfectly on the top side without any stress, and that's what you want. It doesn't have to be perfect for the inside panel because it's non-cosmetic. It's not going to be hidden away. So I'm going to MIG weld this one in, but yeah, I'm happy with that. So I've marked it out with a Sharpie, and I'm going to do the usual thing where I cut just inside of that line. Then I'm going to offer it back up again, and I'm going to make the final cut. I found another bit of rust that I forgot about that's still got to be fixed in the corner back here. But it's still small stuff, so that's alright. We'll get into that as well. But yeah, we're getting there. Okay, this is in place. It's overlapping a little bit at the moment, but as you can see here, I've started a cut, and there's a 1mm gap, so I'm going to tack weld that, and then I'm going to cut some more, and I'm going to tack weld as I go. I'm going to pull out the bit of metal that I cut. Hard to explain, but it works for me. It's not how everyone does it. This is more for MIG welding than TIG welding, but yeah, 1mm gap is fine for MIG welding, so this is how I like to do it. Okay guys, I'm going to get started. Go. Okay, I got that tacked in spot there, and I've started cutting it around, and as you can see, this is the excess from the original metal, and I always pull that back so I don't actually weld it back onto the panel. So now I just got to start tacking it as I go. When I tack up to about here, then I'll cut some more. This just ensures that it all stays where it's supposed to. And yeah, I'll have to probably plenish the tacks just like you do with MIG welding, just to make sure that it doesn't shrink too much along the way. Once I've got enough tacks, then I'll come back and I'll start doing the rest of the welds. Main reason I'm using MIG in here is because it's dirtier metal, and I don't want to waste the TIG gas, because the TIG I like to use for cosmetic areas like external panels that we can see, because it's a little bit neater, less cleanup. Alright, here you go. As you can see, I've tack welded it the whole way around. What I'm doing now is I'm and just moving around and joining the dots, so I don't weld in one spot for too long when I'm MIG welding, because I don't want to build up the heat. So I just do a couple more tacks there, then I'll move along, do a couple more tacks there, and so on until the whole thing's welded completely. If I was TIG welding, I'd weld it from one end to the other and then plenish it out, because it's that's the way you do it. Because MIG welding hardens the metal more than what TIG does, so it's a little bit harder to plenish it out afterwards. So you want to, yeah, whole different process. You got to go a lot slower when you're welding the TIG, welding with the MIG. Sorry. Well, there you go. That's plenty clean enough for a non-cosmetic panel. So now it's time to clean up this area here, and then we can weld in the external panel. Don't think I'm going to get it done by the end of the day like I hoped, but I'll get a start on it at least. There we go, it's all cleaned up and ready to weld back in. But it is knock-off time, so I'm going to knock off for the night and get back into it tomorrow. So we'll see you then, guys. Hey guys, good morning. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, yes, I missed a day. Decided yesterday it was beautiful weather, like it is today. But I decided needed to get out in amongst the nature, so I went for a hike. Went to Onkaparinga National Reserve and went for a hike through the gorge. I can say it was gorgeous. I'll put up a couple of photos just so you can see what I'm talking about, but if you're in South Australia and you're around that area, Onkaparinga National Reserve, lots of hiking trails, and it's way well worth it. I had a great day and I feel so refreshed from it. But here we are back on the Corona. I've got this panel here ready to weld in. It's been treated up and hit with paint on the inside, so to prevent the rust. So next thing is I'm going to clamp it back in place where it's got to be, and then what I will do is I'll tack weld it in place, and then I'll start cutting out the excess metal. So I'm going to do it similarly to the way I did this one here. Well, not similarly, pretty much the same way as I did this one here, with putting it in place and then cutting out the excess metal and pulling it out from underneath. Only difference is I'm going to tack weld this one in place instead of clamp it in place. So yeah, I'll get into doing that, and yeah, then we can move forward, weld it all in, and then move to that back rusty panel back there. Okay, so we got it all clamped in place, so it's fitting pretty snug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting it with the grinder and pulling out the excess from the inside, and I'm going to tack as I go to keep it in place as it is, because it looks pretty bloody good. I like it. So I'm going to start off just light tacks with the MIG welder, and then once it's all in place I'm going to swap over to the TIG. I'm not sure whether I've got enough gas to last the day for the TIG, so yeah, if I run out by the end of the day, tomorrow's delivery day, so I can get some more then. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Well, get my shadow out of here. Okay, here we go, guys. As you can see, I've tack welded the new tin in. I'm going to swap over the TIG now because I want to get the tack welds about 10mm apart. Only reason why I was using the MIG to get it in place is because it's easier to use two hands. Sorry, it's easier to use one hand for welding and one hand for holding it in place. Now I can swap over the TIG because it's mostly in place, but the idea now is, as I said, to get the tack welds about 5 to 10mm apart and to get the surface of the tin as flat between the joins as possible. You don't want any deviations, because that's put it this way, it's like painting. When you're welding in a panel like this, preparation is key. The flatter you can get the metal and the better fit that you can get it, then it's going to make life easier at the end when you have to plenish out the welds and clean them up and make them look pretty. So they're not going to look pretty to start with, but we'll get there. So now I'm just going to clean these welds off. I'm just going to take the tops off with the flap disc, just gently, yeah, just to clean them up a little bit, and then I'll get into tacking with the rest of it with the TIG. Okay, I'll run the flap disc over it as flat as possible, and you can see the parts that need a bit of work because the flap disc's hit it there, but it hasn't hit it just next to it on the other panel, so I'm going to have to flatten that bit out a bit, but that's about the only bit. The rest of it's not too bad. So yeah, I'll work my way around. When I get to that, I'll work on it, but I've got to get the TIG set up. I would set you up on a tripod, but in the position it is, it's a little bit hard, so yeah. But you've seen me do this before. If you want to have a closer look how I do this, go back to my last video. Well, where are we? Never mind. So I've got it all tacked, roughly 5-10 mil apart, as I said. Now just to do the same thing, I've got to clean the tops off the welds, try and plenish it out a bit where it should be, because it has already sunk in a little bit here and there. So I'm going to try and fix that up a bit before I start doing the full weld. But yeah, I've got the plug welds done around the flange, because there's no point trying to straighten this out if this is flopping around where it's moving. I had a moment of excitement before, I don't know, got no idea why, because I looked at that. Anyway, I should be looking at that and getting excited. Don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna do what I just said, and I'll come back. All right, we got it done. We've got about 40 minutes left of the day. But yeah, it's welded in, and it's pretty flat. Can't hide the weld because I can't get behind it to plenish it out, but it's flat enough for body filler. Probably a deviation of about between 2 to 5 mil. Nah, probably, yeah, maybe 2 to 3 mil. When I put the flat plane over it, so that's plenty good enough for a bit of body filler. I mean, once I epoxy it and block it back, I'll probably tidy it up a little bit more, but as it is, it's not too bad. So yeah, I've got about 40 minutes for the rest of the day, as I said. So in that time, I'm going to have a bit of a clean up, pack up all my tools which are all over the place, and then I'm going to start cleaning this area here up, so I can start fabricating that back bit. Now, I've got an idea in my brain on how I'm going to do it, because it is a little bit of a tricky one. Yeah, so I think I'm going to make it in 2 halves, just to make it a little bit quicker and easier to make. So yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. If I weld it straight down the middle while it's off the car, you won't even know. Good morning, guys. It's another wet, miserable day. It's Thursday, so we're close to the end of the week, and as you know, yesterday I got all that welded in. So today I'm moving to this part. This is the part I've been dreading. Yeah, this is yeah, just because it's in prick of a spot, it's going to be difficult. So I'm about to make up the masking tape template, but as I said yesterday, I'm gonna make it half at a time, just to make it a little bit easier. So I'll make this side, then I'll make the other side, and when I've got them fitting snugly, I'll weld them together in the middle off the car so I can plenish them out, and the weld will be pretty much invisible. So we'll go through that, but first, yeah, as usual, same old. I've got to make up the masking tape template, so I'm going to get into that, but I've got to clean it up with a bit of wax and grease remover so the tape actually sticks to it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do right now. That's it, that's all marked out here on the tin. So now I'm going to crank out the plasma cutter and cut that out. Once I've cut that out, I'm going to make another one because it should be symmetrical from one side to another. So I'll just stick the tape back on again and trace out another one and cut that out. So I've got two done at once. Saves a bit of time. Okay guys, sorry, I thought I was recording but I wasn't. Yeah, so I thought I was recording but I wasn't. What I've done is I've tipped over both sides in the tipping wheel here. So now I can take it back to the car and offer it up and start seeing where I need to curve this edge and this edge as well. Righto. It's probably a bit hard for you to see there, but most of the shaping has to be done at this top corner up here. A little bit down the bottom. If I take it away, you can see it sort of just a slight curve there, and it gets more predominant as you come to the edge here. So yeah, I need two hands, so I'm going to mark it with a Sharpie. I'm going to put you guys down. Okay, we're slowly getting the shape. There's a bit more curve around here, and down here it needs to be flattened out there a little bit, but we're getting there. There we go guys, well we got this part here right, so now we've just got to get the curve down the guts of it right, and that's the hard part. Trying to get this to curve the right way and still have that step in it. So it's probably may involve flattening it out again and reshaping it with a bit of a shrink or stretch. Either way, I haven't looked at it close enough yet to work out which way it needs to go, so that's next. I'll probably take it off and put it over my knee and give it a bit of a bend, give it a bit of a spank, and see what I can do. Okay, it didn't take me long to work it out. It's this part here, it's got a bit of a curve around here, whereas on here it's quite flat still. So what I'm actually going to do is stretch this part of it. So there's a bit of hammer and dolly on the stump work just to hollow that section out a bit so I can get a bit of depth in it. We are getting so much closer. So much closer. It's taking a little bit longer than I hoped, but we're getting there. We've got to get this bit here flush to the panel that's got too much shape here. And this line here, once I flatten that out, this is going to be way off. So there's a bit of adjustment to go yet to get it right, but we're getting there. Never give up. Never say it's too hard. Well, there we go. That's it, guys. That's it. Now, get up and stand back. So that's one half done. Yeah. So I'm going to trim up this edge. I've already marked it with the texter with the Sharpie along the back seam here. So I'll rip it off now and I'll trim up that edge. Then I'll put it back on and we can start on the other side. So there we go, we've gone from this to this. So that's half the job done. So now we've got to rinse and repeat and do it to this side. We're going to join together in the middle, like so. So we've got to tip the rotisserie back the other way so I can get to the other side. First I'm going to put this in place because I want it in place when I do it. So yeah, it's looking good. I love how the metal goes nice and shiny when you work it. Yeah, alright. Fun. Yeah, you don't need to see me do it once, you've seen me do it. I mean, you don't need to see me do it twice, you've seen me do it once. Morning guys and girls, yeah, I am back. It's Friday. It's Friday morning and decided I'm going to work on the Corona coupe for the rest of the week. Being it Friday, that's not long. Because next week I'm going to be on the Falcon coupe all week. So I want to get this rear end piece here finished. It's getting there, it's not far off. It's starting to look like it's got some shape. So I got the other half finished, so it's just this half and then I'm going to weld them together. This half's coming together a lot quicker because I know what I'm doing. There's no instruction manual for doing this shit, guys, so you learn as you go every time. Yeah. Anyway, enough with that. I'm going to get into it. It needs a little bit more shape up through here so it can curve around and sit flush like the other one does. Alright, there we go, that's good enough. So now I'm going to take it off. I'm going to weld it together in the middle. So there will be some adjustments to be made after it's welded together, I do believe, but for now that's close enough to get it all in one piece. Alright, here we go. It's off the car. It's tech screwed and clamped together, so now I'm going to cut it down along here as I weld, like I've showed you before. Welds about 10 mil apart, 5-10 mil apart. Plenishing them completely flat before I complete the full weld. I'm doing it with the TIG because I can get it both sides and make this weld disappear. So yeah, I'm going to get into that and I'll probably put you on time lapse as I do it, so you can see the whole process but at a faster pace. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to run the flat disc over the top of these wheels just to flatten them out, and then we're going to plunge completely flat. Depending on how it feels, I might even run it through the English wheel just lightly. Okay, so key is here, move your coffee so you don't get grinder dust in it. But when you're grinding, make sure you use almost no pressure, just the weight of the grinder itself. You don't have to press hard, it just creates more heat, which will throw your panel out of shape even more, and it'll dig in, creating gouges, and it actually works better when you don't press hard. Okay. Not bad at all, not bad at all. There's only a couple of spots that need a little bit of a plenish. So okay, I think that will do. We're going to weld that up. Worst part's going to be right there, but that's up and hidden, so it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to weld that up now. Okay, I'm just going to grind up and clean it all up now, so I'll do that off camera. So yeah, I'll show you after. Well, there you go, it's all one piece. The weld is right there, and just to prove it, there it is on the back. That's the difference between being able to get at both sides to plenish it out. You can make them disappear, unlike that when you can't get at both sides. You can still do it, but it takes a shitload of time, and it's not time that I've got on this. So next thing is I'm going to drill holes all around the edge to do plug welds, because I don't have a spot welder. So yeah, that's next on the list of things to do. There we go, guys, it fits well. So yeah, as I said, I've got to drill the holes around the edge for the plug welds and then weld it in. Oh, I've got to cut the old tin out first before I do that. Hey guys, I've got this part cut out. Still got to pull the flanges out, cut the flanges out, but found a few things in here. And up here, same here. Where is it? There. I'm guessing it'll be the same in here as well. Now that's where the bumper bar brackets on the inside of the car sit. So I'm guessing they rusted out from the inside. And yeah, unfortunately got too much moisture inside of here and just rusted away. So yeah, I've got to patch those up too before I weld the new tin on and clean all this up. Okay, I've started pulling the flange out. I've only got about a quarter to go. I've got to roll the rotisserie over so I can get at that side a bit easier. But I found this underneath. So that's nice. Something more to fix, so yeah, that'll be next round. I've got about an hour and a quarter to go of the week, and then it's the weekend and I'm going camping. Anyway, gonna roll it over now and get the other side out. Let's go. Okay guys, I got the flanges off. And the funny thing is, this side's not as bad. I thought it was going to be worse, but no. So yeah, still a hole here. You know what they say, no, it doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fit up the new panel just to see how it fits now the flanges are off. Obviously I've still got to fix all this. I don't have time to do that because I've only got about 40 minutes left of the day. So I'm going to fit up the new panel, see how it fits, and then I'm going to have a bit of a area clean up, pack up my tools and all that. If I've got enough time, I'll come back and I'll start fixing some of this stuff. Yeah. All right, into it. Okay guys, there we go, it's all in. It's not perfectly in. Some minor adjustments are needed, but I'm not going to do that right now because there's other stuff that needs fixing first. So yeah, 20 minutes left of the day now, so quick clean up before I knock off for the weekend. So I won't be back on the Corona next week. It's going to have to wait till the week after because I've got work to do on the Falcon Coupe. So yeah, we'll be back the week after next, and we'll continue on with this rear section. So yeah, just a couple of small fixes on the inside. I might go get some sandblasting media. Yeah, maybe. Trouble is I can't wheel it outside the shed while it's on the rotisserie. I may have to drop it off the rotisserie just so I can get it out of the shed and blast that inside area. We'll see how we go, but yeah, that shouldn't take long anyway. Yeah, so as I said, I won't see you till next fortnight. So yeah, so if you'd like to like and subscribe and all that, maybe leave a comment, that'd be great. But until then, cheerio guys, we'll see you next time.